What's up, everybody? It's time for Game Week 40 predictions. With me, as always, it's my co-host. It's Mark Ryman. How are we getting on, Mark?
Yeah, I'm good. And just as you think things are settled at the top or the bottom, every week the Championship throws up some surprises and some Puskas Award level own goals as well.
It's not the greatest own goal I've ever seen, but it was up there.
It's definitely up there.
Right, before we kick off, a reminder, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Why are you not subscribed? Hit that subscribe button and away we go. It's time to kick off with Blackburn Rovers versus Middlesbrough.
Yeah, Blackburn becoming the easiest team to predict at the moment in a not a very good way. Borough 2-0. I can't see where the next point, let alone win, is coming from a side that is plummeting. They just got to count themselves lucky the season isn't another 10 games longer, right? Really, right?
Yep, I've gone the same here. I've gone Borough 2-0 as well. Blackburn just stinking out the gaff, aren't they? 4 losses on the spin. Derby, Stoke, Cardiff, Portsmouth. Top 8 completed it, mate. They are stinking out the gaff right now. I think Middlesbrough will be delighted because they need some consistency if they want to mount a playoff charge. And this is exactly the team that they want to play, although famous last words, who knows what will happen.
Yeah, well, you're right about that. But Blackburn's leaky defence will suit Borough, and they did score a beautiful goal against Oxford coming from behind. I don't know whether you saw it, but a beautiful team goal. So, yeah, feel the goals are back for Borough. Get some confidence at the front, and they'll do all right.
I do a championship review show. Of course I saw the goals. Right, on to Coventry versus Burnley.
I found it hard to pick, although Coventry taken apart by, well, Gus Hamer. Who else? Who else is going to score against Cov? What a beautiful free kick that was. I think they should have done a bit better, but tactically we're undone by Chris Wilder. I think this is 1-1 because they're at home. I could easily see Burnley winning it, but I'm going to go 1-1. I think there will be a reaction to this. They've not been in amazing form. I know they absolutely smashed Sunderland, but I think there'll be a reaction, and we'll see what Burnley are made of now at the top with these 3 teams all pretty much on the same points, whether they can hold their nerve to stay or push for the top 2 now.
Yeah, I think Burnley will hold their nerve. Look, they've been tight all season, you know. I was thinking of a proverbial there, but trying to keep it PG. Yeah, they just don't concede. And this is the second big test for Frank Lampard in a row. And I think it won't be as embarrassing as the Sheffield United one, but I do feel Burnley will have too much for them. They score, they go ahead. 1-0 Burnley. And Coventry aren't going to be able to get back into it because Burnley defend like absolute champions. Not saying they're going to be champions this season, but I do think they will have enough about them to go up automatically.
Fair shout. Definitely a fair shout.
Mm-hmm.
Difficult to argue with.
Yeah. And now on to the ding-dong battle of the weekend. It's the one that everyone is flocking to see. It's Luton Town versus Leeds United.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to openly admit to this. As we are complete neutrals in this and always professional, never reveal that we support Luton Town. Despite
You'd never know.
You'd never know. Despite that professionalism, I've predicted Luton Town to win 2-1 in every game, and every game we've won, bar the Borough game, which we should have won. So for that reason, and that reason only, Luton Town 2, Leeds United 1. I will say this, on a serious prediction level, I think Leeds could nick it, but I don't think it's going to be a walkover. It's certainly not going to be the write-off that Luton Town fans feared for a few weeks ago. One side, Luton are back in business at home. Leeds are tiny bit of bottle. Yeah. 2-1 Luton, straightforward.
Yeah,
Consolation goal, 90th minute.
Okay,
No worries.
I think you need
Easy
your head
peasy.
checking. You need your head checking. Just saying.
I'm just doing it for the comments. Look,
yeah.
this is purely. Honestly, this is absolutely purely based on superstition. Now, I can't not predict Luton to win 2-1 at the moment because it served me so well. So that's it. I'm doing it 2-1.
Okay. So I've gone 1-1 here, and that is my optimistic hat on. Yes, Leeds are bossling and Luton are solid at the back, but Leeds can still score. And, Luton don't do too well against Leeds. Like, long are the days when we beat them 5-1. That was a completely different Leeds. And that was also, crikey, 20 years ago.
Yeah, we also went down that season as well. I know. So, not a good omen anyway.
I know. And, long are the days remember when we got that draw at Elland Road as well, Harry Cornick scoring that beauty.
Yeah.
And that was seen as a good result, 1-1, and we were hanging on in there. Look, these are two very different teams now. 1-1. I'm nervous.
You've gone for the same score. Listen, yeah. I think I'm far more optimistic, and I think Luton Town fans should be more optimistic than they were. But there's no underestimating Leeds United in this. Really, I know I've put a silly score out. Well, not silly, but optimistic from a Luton Town point of view, particularly. Luton will fight for their lives in this game. Luton will fight for their lives in this game, and small pitch. It won't be the walkover that it was at Elland Road. I really don't see that being the case. But yeah, you've got to put your money on Leeds, I suppose, if you're a gambling man. But yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, Luton are certainly not the same team that they were 10 games ago. Right, on to West Brom versus Sunderland.
I've gone for another 2-1. I've gone for West Brom this time to win 2-1 at home. West Brom's form has been pretty shocking, actually, since they sort of almost secured that 5th place spot. They've been pretty poor and not finding ways to win games. They haven't lost a huge amount, only in the last game, thanks to that wonderful Norwich goal finished off by Josh Sargent. What goal that was? I think he missed a much easier chance earlier in the game. But on the same token, Sunderland have picked up. I think away from home, this can be a tough test. West Brom, for me, have got more to play for. So that's the basic reasoning for it. They've got more to play for. They need the points to secure the playoff spot. Sunderland are there regardless now. So for that reason, 2-1 West Brom.
Yeah, I've also bet against Sunderland here. I've got 1-0 West Brom. I like what Mowbray's done, and he's sort of returning back to Sunderland. Well, actually, no, this is a home game. So Sunderland's are reacquainting with Tony Mowbray. And yeah, you're right in the sense that game against Norwich. Remember, this was Norwich at home as well. Norwich at home are like on steroids. They're generally very good there. And that was a very well taken goal. I love a counter-attack. I said it in Champ Chat. But I feel Sunderland, the momentum is kind of gone, a draw, a loss, and a win, and it was a tight win against Millwall. West Brom are a better team than Millwall, so Sunderland travelling, I don't know. I don't understand. Why are Sunderland having Luco 98 pens? That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Poor record with penalties overall, aren't they, this season? Yeah, I think they've tried and tested everybody. It's not working, so yeah, it's that certainly won't be used again. But they still found a way just about to win it. But yeah, I'm with you. I think it'd be a much tougher test at the Hawthorns.
Yeah, very much the case. Right, on to playoff chasing Bristol City versus Watford.
Just Watford, not playoff chasing. No. I think this will finish any hopes. Anyway, Bristol City 2-0. They're the better side at the moment. Watford have been poor. They were the only side to lose against Oxford in 52 years. Slight exaggeration, but certainly in the last few games, it's unbelievable to see. Although Borough struggled in the last game too, and they drew against Plymouth. All right, they turned up in the second half, but they were woeful in the first half. I think if they do that against Bristol City, they will get punished and early. So yeah, 2-0, straightforward Bristol City win for me. And really pushing up to that top 6. They're certainly contenders, aren't they?
They are. They got eyes on the prize. They're hard to beat, and all the flack are chucked their way.
I can't wait for the TikTok at the end of the season when they're in the playoffs.
Who has the attention span to trawl through YouTube videos to get the Bristol City apology? I don't know. It's a TikTok admin. They're not checking this stuff, are they?
Just let me know, Bristol City. I'll tell you where to find it.
I've got 1-0 Bristol City here. I'm backing them to put some serious daylight between them in 8th and Watford in 9th, because they got to put the foot down on the pedal, full steam ahead, really, really throw their hat into the ring for the playoff battle. They really do.
Yeah, they do. It's time to step up. No one seems to want to win consecutive games around that area, do they? So that, one team has got to find some consistent form to clinch 5th or 6th.
It's mad. Yeah, the only real form teams right now are the teams at the bottom and the top 3.
Yeah,
even Leeds are chucking up the ball now, aren't they?
Yeah, 2 of the top 3. Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Madness.
Well, that's what happens. It's what I say. It's the teams at the bottom. They become the form teams of the division, and it's absolutely wonderful to see. Right, on to Millwall versus Portsmouth.
Old-fashioned prediction come in. Millwall 1, Pompey 0. Millwall don't concede. Portsmouth have just about kept their heads above water by winning the odd game in 3 or 4. They got the Charity FC in Blackburn last game to help them turn their form around, so that was good for them. But I think Millwall will probably be just about too strong for them. Tight loss against Sunderland, but yeah, I think at home, particularly against an inconsistent Pompey team, they'll probably just about squeeze it. It's not going to be a barnstormer of a game. It'll probably be very tight regardless. But yeah, 1-0 win for me for Millwall for that reason.
See, I don't know what I was predicting here, because I've gone for a Desmond. I've gone 2-2.
Wow.
And yeah, because Pompey, they have been scoring goals. And I'm thinking back to like how Millwall were at the beginning of the season. But if I was, maybe I would have predicted like a 4-4 or something like that. Like a Desmond on a Desmond. Pompey, they defend well. So do Millwall. So I think it's going to be 2 good defences cancelling each other out by scoring plenty of goals. I'm going for an opposite thing.
It's opposite land. It's opposite land. I can't wait to see the next prediction. We've got Oxford versus Sheffield United.
Well, let's do that one then. Oxford versus Sheffield United. Who you got?
Yeah, I've got Sheffield United to win 2-0. But it's one of those games, I really hope not, from a Luton Town perspective, that you feel like maybe something's coming. Look, Sheffield United have been brilliant. And, we both predicted them, I think, to finish 3rd, much to the disappointment of some Sheffield United fans. I think we said it would be very close. Them and Burnley are similar teams, but Burnley are better at not conceding. But, since then, they've just been consistently winning by the odd goal, as they do, apart from that game against Coventry. I wonder how they'll cope now being top of the league. It'll be interesting to see now the pressure's on. How are they going to cope with that? But I think they win this game comfortably. I can't see any other result, really. 2-0 Sheffield United.
That is a very interesting point. How will they cope being top of the table? Chris Wilder, what very experienced manager.
Yeah.
Can he keep his players' feet on the ground and have their eyes on the prize, focused on what they need to do? It is very interesting. I got 2-0 Sheffield United for this one. Oxford, a couple of weeks ago, we were thinking they're safe. They're home. They're hosed. Gary Rowett's done a tremendous job. I don't know what's happened here because I only watched the highlights. I don't know what's happening. Oxford fans, if you're watching this, please let us know in the comments. What is happening at Oxford? Why has... you got players back. You got Placheta. You got Dembele. Is Brannigan playing? Well, you were fine without Brannigan, and then you were fine with Brannigan, and now it's the wheels have come off. You're broken down on the hard shoulder. Yeah, they still score good goals. Mark Harris is back, and he's laying off balls for people to fire in. it seems all right. They got Helik. Helik is scoring goals.
Helix, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a great signing. Yeah, I thought it was a great signing, but he's scoring goals, but they're leaking the other end. And really, you'd imagine they signed him more for his defensive capabilities. But yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? And clearly a downturn in confidence. They've been on a terrible run. I predicted them in the bottom three come the end of the season, and it's going to be close. It certainly is. I put them. I think I put them third bottom, and it's looking like it could well happen.
Yeah, they've been properly sucked in because of the upturn from Luton, Derby, Cardiff, and Hull. Really sucks them back into the fold.
Yeah.
Poor Roxford, because everyone kind of liked their swashbuckling style of football under Des Buckingham, and then they went more pragmatic under Gary Rowett. But now the wheels are firmly off. You hate to see it, but to be honest, if they go down at the expense of instead of Luton Town, I'm not going to complain, am I? Bias aside, obviously.
Yeah, we're very much neutral.
Yeah, we're a neutral. We're a neutral show.
Said.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're neutral here. You know, love Oxford. Right, Plymouth versus Norwich.
I was actually quite tempted to go for a 1-1 here. I've gone for a tight 2-1 Norwich win, but I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for them. Norwich, for me, have been poor. They really have, both home and away. I know you're talking about Carrow Road and them being a different team. They certainly were in the first half of the season, and what a great goal it was. But they are very much a kind of one-man band team. We've talked about this before. And away from home, they've been really unconvincing in certain games, haven't they? Been absolutely terrible. Plymouth, they're down there. For me, they're down. I don't see a way of them clawing back the 6-7 points that it's going to take if you take into account goal difference. But you know, they're not laying down. They got a draw away at Watford. No mean feat. Yes, Watford were terrible in that first half, but Plymouth did what Plymouth do and blocked them out. So I think this will be tighter than some people might think. I think Norwich just edge it, but it'll be close. 2-1 Norwich.
See, I did go for a 1-1 because I mentioned it before. Norwich at home are a completely different beast from Norwich away. And Plymouth, they're running out of games now. They did really well to close that gap. And then all the other teams just above them started pulling away.
Yeah.
So, you know, they've got to dust themselves down. They're out the cup. Okay. No use crying over it because it seems they've had a massive hangover from getting dumped out the cup. Sort yourselves out, pick yourselves up, start playing in games. And yes, that was a good draw against Watford. Obviously helped out massively by Connor Hazard, who is a fantastic goalkeeper. And I don't think he's going to be staying at Plymouth for much longer beyond this season. If Plymouth go down, Connor Hazard's gone. Even if they stay up, I reckon he's gone. A tremendous keeper. I'd say he's in the mould of like a Nick Pope. Just he was tall, gangly.
Yeah. I mean, they're just going through keepers like nobody's business. They keep producing keepers that are too good to stay at their club, aren't they? Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you completely. I think that they're just running out of games, and while they've plateaued, haven't they? They've kind of, but their form is still bottom half, and when you're that far away, yeah, nothing really that you can do about it. I don't think at this stage.
Yeah, the fat lady's warming up.
Oh yeah,
and they could be confirmed as relegated quite soon, especially if the teams above them continue their form. Right, on to Preston North End versus Stoke City.
It's worth pointing out that we're recording this before the Preston Derby game, which will be obviously an interesting indication on how these two do. Preston obviously talking to getting dumped out of the cup, lost 3-0 to Villa. They did all right in the first half. I thought they kept them at bay, and as soon as they tried to attack, Villa just picked them off ruthlessly, as Villa can do. What that will do to them now, knowing that there really isn't that much to play for, they are pretty much playing every team in the bottom half or the bottom third of the table. There is an argument to say that they have the nicest run-in of anyone in the division, and if there's any team going to come from nowhere to make a challenge for the playoffs, they've got the best chance. But I don't know. I don't see it. I hope from a purely biased point of view that they don't down tools at this point, and because they've got a relatively new manager in Heckingbottom, I don't think they will. Stoke, by the way, were brilliant in their last game. I think it's worth pointing out QPR are absolute trash. However, Stoke were brilliant. That first half in particular was absolutely excellent from Stoke, and should be applauded. It's obviously a worry for everybody else down there because they're relying on teams like Stoke doing the business. I thought Manhoff in particular looks so dangerous now. He's always looked good. He's always looked good to me, but never quite had an end product. And now, if he adds that end product, he's terrifying. So yeah, based on me and the unknown, I've gone for a safe draw, 1-1 draw, because it's at Preston and Preston are so hard to beat. But I think Stoke get something from this game based on their last performance.
Yeah, the game on Wednesday, which I think this will probably be released on either Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday, so we don't have the benefit of that. Neither will editor Kate, so she can't make us look silly with whatever
we do that enough ourselves.
Oh yeah, I know. We need no assistance.
You don't need any help.
Kate to look stupid.
Too easy.
So it was a good point raised in the Luton Town show or Champ Chat. I can't remember which one. It was, I think Ollie said it. The other Ollie, the guy that we had on. Not me. Yeah, I don't.
For a really worrying second, I thought you started talking about yourself in the third person. We needed an intervention.
Ollie made a good point, and that should say enough because I never make any good points. So Preston have the favourable running. Preston have a game in hand at time of recording. Preston are only 10 points away from the playoffs. Can Preston do it? I've got 1-0 here because Stoke, yes, they're going to be tough to beat, but were QPR that bad? That's the thing, because QPR were really bad. 1 point out of the last available 15. That's just from what I can see here in front of me. I think the run of form goes back even longer and even worse. Worser, is that a word? Even more worse.
Nope.
It's not looking good for QPR. And when you look at it this way, Derby with a game in hand are only 7 points behind them.
Yeah.
Luton Town with the same amount of games played, only 7 points behind them. Can QPR get sucked in here?
Right. Well, should we start talking about them as we're introducing, aren't we? The next game anyway. At this rate,
it's QPR versus Cardiff City. Is it a 6-pointer, Mark?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do. I mentioned this in our post-match phone-in, and Christian, I think who we're talking to, said no chance. I really do think that they are in it. And if you ask QPR fans, I think most of them would say yes. They're in they're banging trouble. To answer your question, I've gone for a Cardiff 1-0 win. So I think Cardiff win this game. Purely, actually, a bit of both. I gave Cardiff a lot of stick in our last prediction video because of how poor they had been in their previous 3 games, but particularly against Luton. After that, they beat Blackburn, which we put down to Blackburn, but they were very good against Sheffield Wednesday. And I have to give them credit for that game. They were good. They deserved to win it. Sheffield Wednesday took their chance well, but really Cardiff were storming their box and were unlucky just to get a point. QPR are just, what on earth is going on? And interestingly, that the only point they've got in recent times is a 2-2 draw against Leeds. Mad. Yeah, who knows what is happening there? But just like we said with Oxford, momentum is a thing both ways. And yeah, they are dropping. What are they on? 45 points.
45 points. Cardiff are on 40.
I think it's
in that.
Yeah. So I think it might only take QPR another 3 or 4 points. I think you think it'll take them another 5 or 6. Either way, I'm not sure where they're coming from. So yeah, Cardiff City to win this 1-0.
Yeah. I've got Cardiff City to win this one 2-1. Pretty much the same principle as yourself. QPR are banging trouble. It's as you say, momentum. Happened to Oxford. They went on a killer run of form under Rowett. It dried up and they're just ahead. Well, they're 3 points worse off than QPR. Remember that run of form, QPR? They beat Luton Town, finished that game week in the top half of the table, and everyone was like, yay, playoffs, ole, ole. and it's just fizzled out really badly. And you know what? I think 50 points is the benchmark for relegation this season. Can they get 5 points from the remaining, 7 games? I don't know. They've only got one from the last 5 games, so I don't know. I think they're going to struggle. Yeah.
Is Martí Cifuentes the manager we thought he was? Is that a fair question? Answer it, QPR fans, because I genuinely don't know. I don't watch enough of their games, but yeah.
Like, what has happened, QPR fans? Tell us what has happened, because this is absolutely alarming. This the start of the season, the middle of the season, and now this. It's mad. The end of the season. It's bonkers. It really is. Right, Sheffield Wednesday versus Hull. Another team that's kind of petered out a little bit, Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, and another team that's playing a lot of the teams down the bottom. If you've got to make the argument about Preston, you probably could do with Sheffield Wednesday as well. The difference is off-field stuff. That Danny Roll's head's probably been turned a little bit by some of the interest as well. I get that feeling. But they've got goals in them. They really do have goals in that side. And while Barry Bannon's on the pitch, I always give him a chance. So I've gone for a 2-1 win against Hull. I think it could be really tight, this one. I found this another one hard to call. I probably was going to go with a 1-1, but did enough 1-1s and thought I'll go for a result one way or the other. Look, I mean, Hull certainly didn't create anything really of any note against Luton. There was a chance in the injury time that Thomas Kaminski did well to save, but other than that, I think the XG was like 0.6 or something, and I think that was a fair reflection having watched the game, as it was for Luton. And yeah, free cone goal decided it. I think Sheffield Wednesday will create more chances, basically, and that's the reason for their win. But you're right, they've gone off the boil recently, so it's quite hard to predict. But I'm going to 2-1 Wednesday.
Yeah. So I've gone 1-1 here, and it's interesting you say, yeah, we were talking about Preston, can they make a playoff push? We're talking about Sheffield Wednesday, who are actually 5 points ahead of them as well.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
But it's the perception, because Preston have that perception that they're hard to beat. Sheffield Wednesday, not so much, especially in recent times. Yeah, Hull, I was expecting this beautiful Ruben Sellers ball, but I was, disappointed, especially in the second half. They really didn't do much other than speculative shots, really.
It's been their problem all season, hasn't it? They can't finish the dinner. And, João Pedro's out, but he's, just as wasteful as everybody else in that team. And, their midfielders are good. They've got some good midfielders in there. It was interesting seeing Gelhardt play so far on the wing as well, and therefore, not being really utilised as a forward as much. And his corners, by the way, are dreadful. I mean, I don't know who's doing that. Just for Hull's sake, please take him off corner. What is he doing? I mean, I was really pleased as a Luton fan watching him just pass the ball straight to our fullbacks or our wing backs. But, from a Hull point of view, you probably want to get it in the box.
The best one was in the 96th minute.
Yeah, that one,
Passed
it to Ali. Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much.
And the final game, Swansea City versus Derby County.
Again, as we said for the Preston game, we've not. We don't know what's happening on Wednesday, and it's going to be big. It's going to be huge, that one. I'm so impressed with Swansea, though. I've put a Swansea 2-1 win for this one. But Derby are in brilliant form too. And again, their game will make a massive difference to this score. It's going to be a lot of games for Derby coming up with this Wednesday, because it's a double game week coming up next week as well. So it's a lot of football to be played for Derby, who have had a lot of players injured already. Swansea, I know that they were certainly gifted. No, they were gifted both goals. What am I saying? They were gifted both goals. I mean, the first one's hilarious. The second one was that near post shot that he sort of parried into his own net. I mean, horrendous. Wesley on a one-man mission to ensure that every season is just like Groundhog Day for Leeds. But
he just wants to play more games, doesn't he?
He just loves the Championship. But having said that, credit to Swansea because I'm pretty sure they hit the post once or twice. They got penalty saved as well, so he saved a penalty and then does that. So they create a chance in the game. It's not as if it's like the Portsmouth win. It wasn't a goal and then defend for your lives for 90 minutes. They played well. They played their part. I think at home, I think they've got Derby's number, but it'll be close 2-1.
So I've gone 1-1 here. I don't know if this 3 on the spin from Derby is actual momentum or a false dawn. I don't know. We've got to see what happens on Wednesday. It's really hard to pick that one up. For Swansea as well, they're tough to score against. I think Harry Darling's tremendous at the back. He really is. But it's a hard one to, Sheehan, he's organised them. The results haven't all been great, but you know what? Always believe in Alan Sheehan.
Yeah, always. And but you think about where they were. For me, they were doing an Oxford, weren't they? Until Sheehan took the reins, they were plummeting.
Yeah.
So he's made them, as you say, harder to beat, and they, they're not losing so many games, and that's important. Really hard to pick this one because of Wednesday, as you say.
Mm-hmm. But better form than QPR, but on the same points as QPR. But I guess they picked up in recent weeks, whereas QPR have just they're going down that trajectory right now. They're trending down.
It's more like Oblivion at Alton Towers.
Nemesis Inferno. Right. So, who is your pick of the week?
Yeah, so I've gone for Bristol City to beat Watford at home. I think Watford have been far poorer than their results were showing, even when they were winning games. And Bristol City, even though where they are in the league's pretty much the same, different trajectory for me. So yeah, Bristol City to beat Watford 2-0.
Okay, I'm going for West Brom to beat Sunderland. Maybe some of the Sunderland players will get wind of this and it will spur them on to keep going. Maybe practice their penalties.
Get out the treatment room.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well. Well, that's us done for this week. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, remember to subscribe to our channel for lots more championship content. We did a final table prediction. If you want to be offended by where we put your team, please check it out. It's in the description below this video. But as always, whoever you support, have a great week, everyone. Take care.